So, as of the recording of this, it is the 29th of October, so just a couple of days left, but I am outside. It is 76 degrees outside, so the breeze is actually a little warm, and I thought this would just be a lovely thing to show. As you can see, the sun is trying to fight with some clouds there in front of it. So, thank you so much for joining me. You know, it has been a couple of days since the many days of my testimony aired. And it was something that I wanted to do, but of course, if you listen to all the days, then you know that I wasn't someone that was found, in a ditch with a needle in my arm. That was not my story. And your story could be that that was you who was found in a ditch with a needle in your arm, or maybe you spent a little bit of time in jail, etc. But here's the thing, it doesn't mean that I'm so good because those were not my experiences. What it means is that God is so good, because that could be any of us. And everybody's circumstances are different. And so, even though I didn't have that experience, what God did show me very early on, because He is so good and so gracious and so merciful, He gave me wisdom way beyond my years. And I recognized when what I saw modeled was not good behavior. I recognized and I knew that that was bad. And I knew that I knew that I knew that that would lead me towards a path of destruction. So I just chose to not be involved with that. But it isn't because I'm good, it's because God is good. And so, there was that time that I talked about where I just thought it was all me, and because I didn't. But because God is good, because He's good, that is the reason that I didn't. But if you are a person who has had those life experiences that you maybe are not so happy about, there's always that opportunity for us to do something different. So just because you maybe spent time in, let's say, a prison cell, it doesn't mean that's where you have to be now. And so, because God is good and because He is gracious and because He is merciful, then we all have an opportunity to do something different than what, in my case, what I saw modeled as a child, or maybe in your case, how you lived your life as an adult, perhaps. So, there's a story for all of us, and there are people that my life story will never relate to. And there are people who will relate to my sort of life story, that I saw this was bad behavior. I saw this wasn't good. I saw this wasn't profitable. I knew that that would not help me in my life. So I just had the strength from God to just withstand and to not participate in certain things. And it's because God is good. And I am grateful that I haven't had those experiences, but I've had other experiences. And the experiences that are not shared here are simply because there are people in my life who know certain events, but there are also people in my life that don't. And those people in my life, they don't need to know. It's not helpful for them. It's not fruitful. It's not profitable. So there really isn't any point. And so I know for me that it's just best. There are things that just don't need to be shared. And so, whereas my story maybe can't relate to some people, maybe yours can. And so we want to share our testimony. So Psalm 107, verse 1 says this: Oh, give thanks to the Lord, for He is good, for His mercy endures forever. Let the redeemed of the Lord say so, whom He has redeemed from the hand of the enemy, and gathered out of the lands from the east and from the west, from the north and from the south. So when I read the beginning of Psalms 107, it says, Give thanks to the Lord, for He is good. The Lord is good. His mercy does endure forever. And He is gracious and kind, and He is loving. So if your story is like mine, where you weren't found on the side of the road with a needle in your arm and brought back from the precipice of death, you still have a story that someone can relate to, and it is only by the grace of God that you weren't found in a ditch on the side of the road with a needle in your arm. Armor up, we ride at dawn. May God bless you as always. Have a great day.